This video is a review on combining like terms and the distributive property. These are important skills to help you be successful with solving equations. Let's start with combining like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variables and powers. So for instance, constants or numbers like 1 and 2 are like terms. So is x and 4x. They have the same variables, which is the x, and those have the same power, which since there's no power written, that's 1, but they do not need to have the same coefficient, which is the number in front. Another example would be 3x to the third and negative 2x to the third. They have the same variables with the same powers, and it's okay that they don't have the same coefficients. Another example would be 2xy and 5xy. So they could have different variables as well, but they need to be exactly the same, of x to the first power, y to the first power. You can't have 2xy and 2x be like terms because they don't have the same exact variables. So what we're going to learn is how to combine like terms in order to simplify our expressions or our equations in order to help us solve. So here are some examples of expressions where we want to simplify them by combining like terms. First thing we have to do is identify what the like terms are. So here one term is 2x, the other one is positive 3x. Since they have the same variables with the same powers, we know that we can combine like terms. The way to combine like terms is to add or subtract or combine, however it's being asked, the coefficients and leave the variable. So 2x plus 3x is really, I have 2x's plus 3x's, and that gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5x's. If we look at this, we can see that 2 plus 3 is 5, and x plus x is going to give us x. Do not try to combine these by making x squared. That would be multiplying. All right, we are adding them together. So the next problem, we're going to identify our like terms. We have 12r, and then we have negative 8, and those are not like terms. And we have negative 12. So negative 8 and negative 12 are like terms. They can be combined together, but there's nothing we can do about the 12r. So the 12r is going to stay, and then we're going to combine negative 8 minus 12, and negative 8 minus 12 is negative 20. So this expression simplifies to 12r minus 20. What I want you to do now is pause the video and try the final 3 problems on your own. Once you're ready, press start again and see if you got them right. All right, we have n minus 10 plus 9n minus 3. So one of my terms is n, and its other like term is 9n. Then we also have negative 10 and negative 3, which are like terms. So starting with my n and 9n, remember that there's a coefficient of 1 if no number is written there. So 1n plus 9n is 10n, and negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13. So this simplifies to 10n minus 13. With the next problem, we have negative 2x and 6x, which are like terms, and then positive 11, which is by itself. So negative 2x plus 6x gives us 4x, and then we have our plus 11. Finally, we have 12r and 3r, which are like terms, and 5 and negative 5. So 12r plus 3r is 15r, and positive 5 minus 5 is 0. So we have 15r plus 0, but what this really simplifies to is 15r. And that is combining like terms. Now we move on to the distributive property. The distributive property involves multiplying each term inside the parentheses. So n is a term, positive 1 is a term, and we're going to multiply each of these terms that are inside the parentheses with the term that is outside of the parentheses. So one way to look at this is we're going to take 4 and multiply it by n, and we're going to take 4 and multiply it by 1. So we have 4 times n. We're going to keep the sign in the middle, which is plus, and 4 times 1. And this simplifies to 4n plus 4. So we take the term that's on the outside and multiply it by each term on the inside, and that is the distributive property. So looking at these problems, we're going to take the term that's on the outside and multiply it by each term on the inside. If the term is on the outside on the other side, you're still doing the same thing. You're multiplying it by each term on the inside. So I want you to pause the video, try these 4 problems, and then when you're ready, start the video again and check your answers. All right, looking at the first one, we're going to take 2 and multiply it by a, and 2 multiplied by 8. So 2 times a is 2a, and 2 times positive 8 is positive 16. So we have multiplied out 2 times a plus 8 to get 2a plus 16. For the next one, we have negative 7 times 10 and negative 7 times 7f. Well, negative 7 times 10 is negative 70, and negative 7 times 7f, well, that's negative 7 times 7, which is negative 49, and we keep the f. So we have negative 70 minus 49f. A better way to write this would be to put the term that has the variable in front. So negative 49f minus 70. This is standard form. We will be using it a lot in algebra. Next we have 2x plus 3 times 5. So I'm taking that 5 and multiplying it by 2x, and I'm taking that 5 and multiplying it by 3. So 5 times 2x is 10x, and 5 times 3 is 15. If you ever get confused with problems like this, just put the 5 in front, and so you have 5 times 2x plus 3. It means the exact same thing, but sometimes it's easier to look at problems the way you normally see them to figure them out. Finally, we have 3 times n minus 9. So we're going to multiply 3 times n, and we're going to multiply 3 times negative 9. 3 times n is 3n, and 3 times negative 9 is negative 27. And so we get 3n minus 27. And that is the distributive property. You'll be using it a lot to solve equations, among other things. So it's a very important property, as is combining like terms.